Released in 1991, Double Dragon 3 The Sacred Stones is once again not a port of the arcade version of Double Dragon 3, which is good because that game made kids buy the weapons in the game with real quarters. Instead, it sought to build upon the foundation set by the first two NES games. But did it succeed? First of all, this game is notorious as one of the games first reviewed by the angry video game nerd. He said this game was complete garbage, pointed out hilarious typos.
Me? How'd they make a mistake like this? Bimmy isn't even a real name.
And generally just shit all over this game.
Double Dragon 3, The Sacred Stones, is just a fucking waste.
I don't think all of that hate is warranted, but I also don't think he covered the most bullshit parts of this game. The game is not near as hard as he made it out to be. You have a slightly different moveset than the previous games, but gone is the awkward changing with your direction kick and punch scheme of Double Dragon 2. You still have your Dragon Kick, which will be your main move in this game. The kick has been slightly altered. You have a flipping hair pull attack, you can grab enemies and knee or elbow them, and it's important to know that while you do this move, you are invincible, so you can time this to avoid enemy attacks. As you fight the warriors guarding the Sacred Stones, you'll find defeating them gives you access to them as a character. The AVGN said Chin, the kung fu expert from China, was a fat man in a suit who sucked. However, on the next level, Japan, you'll find he can defeat the ninjas in one combo, or for that matter, almost any normal enemy. He is a powerhouse who can clear whole screens of enemies in seconds, and he has this belly flop or this multi-comboing kick that can help him move around or clear any room. Ranzu, the ninja, is actually pretty weak. His sword does far less damage than the Lee or Chin's attacks, but his dragon kick replacement is pretty damaging and he can really get around the screen. Each character is a powerful weapon with limited uses. The Lee brothers have nunchucks, Chin an iron claw, and Ranzu shurikens. The nunchucks and claw can put most bosses down to 5 to 8 hits, though each only has 5 uses. You get far more shurikens, but I never really found much use for them. You can still pick up weapons for downed enemies, though they have decreased in power and still disappear after the enemy originally wielding it dies. The levels are more straightforward. Platforming is almost entirely gone except for the last level. The levels change from New York's gritty streets to a Chinese mountain cabin, then to a Japanese ninja fortress, a Roman Colosseum, and finally Egypt. The enemies change up a bit by level, from street punks and bikers to Chinese martial artists and ninjas to these annoying spear-throwing guys. They have your basic moves and they love to counterattack. Some of them can throw unlimited amounts of these weak but annoying projectiles. Besides the playable boxes, you'll face this biker who is the brother of Willie, the machine gun warlord from the first game, this Adonis-looking Hulk in the Colosseum, fucking mummies, and finally the biggest bullshit in the entire game, the boss. She can fly, shoot fireballs, disappear and reappear, which is also an attack. She can throw you like Darth Vader across the screen. I feel that this is definitely the most cheap aspect of the game and one not covered by the angry video game nerd. Even after you figure out the pattern and how to avoid her attacks, it's just tedious as she has so many hit points. One mistake, you'll die, you have to start over. Though I believe that after level 3, you are allowed one continue. No lives, so if a character dies, they are dead. So does this game achieve its goal of improving on the last two games? Yes and no. It's not as memorable as the first two, probably because it requires you to learn how enemy attacks, how to dodge them, and to prioritize which enemies to attack first. The music and graphics remain among some of the best on the console. The controls are tight, which makes a little platforming you'll find here palatable. I think the game, while only having 5 levels, has more depth than the previous two with its upgraded enemy roster, challenging bosses, and more playable characters with different styles. This also makes for a far more enjoyable co-op experience, much more so when you've unlocked all the characters, as you can try out different teams and play styles. You can even perform a super dragon kick if both Lee bros time their kicks right. This was the only Double Dragon game I owned as a kid, so I played this co-op a lot with my buddies. As an adult, I feel that I was able to realize the strategy required to play this game, and as such, my opinion is that this game is not near as bad as the arcade equivalent or that the angry video game nerd made it out to be. I'd say give the last NES outing the Lee brothers a try and you won't be disappointed.